Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So tonight, I want to share something with you guys. Of course, we've heard Bitcoin being declared dead. This declaration has been said many times in the past. But it was also said by one man that you would never expect 9 years ago. Why did he say this then? And why did he convert now? Let's discuss this and other things that's going on in the world of crypto today. So let's get started. Welcome. That's not what I meant to show, but take a look. Since I started streaming, Bitcoin started coming up. The George effect is happening right now, a little bit better than where we were just an hour or two ago when Bitcoin was back down to about 16.2, but now we're back up. So that's looking good. Today, we had more weakness because the U.S. market ended red, right? Last week was absolutely horrible. Today, also horrible. But, what was I going to say? But, you know, tomorrow's another day, right? Tomorrow's another day. So why did things go down? Well, because, again, fears of recession, treasury yields rise, right? Again, so many people worried about recession, not just in the U.S., but globally. Like Japan is still not raising their rates. The Bank of Japan is refusing to raise rates. That's why the Japanese yen is in a free fall, right? And there's just a lot of fear. And in Europe, of course, energy prices are still skyrocketing because of the war. And now even EU countries agreed to a gas price cap to try to contain the rising energy costs, especially as we head into winter, right? So a lot of fear. But here, let me tie this into this one man that declared Bitcoin dead. Again, you would never, ever think of this person saying this, at least not right now. But that is Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor, the biggest Bitcoin bull, right, that we had today, one of the biggest Bitcoin ones at least, said this about 9 years ago, 9 years and 1 day ago. Bitcoin's days are numbered. It seems like just a matter of time before it suffers the same fate as online gambling. And of course, 9 years ago, very little of us were into Bitcoin. This was back in 2013, before Bitcoin went on a rise to... Well, actually, you know what? I take that back. This was around the time, actually, I was in it because that was the first time, around the first time Bitcoin hit $1,000. Then the bubble collapsed, and then it dropped all the way down to like $160-ish. But that was when I was mining back then, right? So I take that back. I've been around. I've been around the block. You know, why did he say it? I don't know. So many people back then did not believe in Bitcoin, right? But what's more important is what made Michael Saylor change his mind? What made him jump in and buy? Where's that chart at? I have that chart. No, this is the one. What made him buy 130,000 Bitcoin since then? Okay, approximately 2.1 billion in value. And that's just from his company, MicroStrategy, not his own holdings. He holds hundreds of millions of Bitcoin himself too, right? So what made him convert? Well, this is the reason. And this, again, tying to the beginning, what's going on in terms of the world and people afraid of recession. This is what converted Michael Saylor, because this is the purchasing power of the dollar. And if you extrapolate this is only going to 2020. But if you actually extrapolate this to 2022, it's even lower. It just keeps going down. This is what happens with fiat over time. Ever since we got off the dollar standard, it's been accelerating in terms of your buying power basically disappearing right in front of your eyes. And this is what Michael Saylor eventually figured out. He's like, I have all this cash, but it keeps disappearing basically. The buying power keeps decreasing. And then he finally realized that Bitcoin was the way, right? So that is why he converted, right? And take a look at the global inflation outlook right now. This was updated to October, so 2 months ago. But just take a look. It's not just the U.S. If you thought U.S. was the only country, no. Look at countries around the world. There are countries that's suffering from triple-digit inflation year over year. But almost every country out there is in red or warmer red or deep red because almost every nation out there overprinted. And now we have this issue with too much money that also, combined with the war and supply chain issues, but all of it together, right? But mostly because of the money printing, brought inflation high, really high, right? And all this fears about recessions is because all the central banks out there are trying to solve it now. Because inflation is so high, what they're doing is cutting rates, right? Trying to slow down the economy. But they can't do anything about the circulation of money because that's already done. So what can they do? Try to slow down the economy. Try to make people a little bit more broke. And that is why there's so much fears about a recession. And that is where we are now, right? But if Michael Saylor, who seemed like he was one of the biggest Bitcoin bears, can convert, well, so can you. And so can everyone else. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time, right? There's a lot of naysayers still. A lot of people don't believe, especially now, whenever Bitcoin is low, whenever crypto's low, the naysayers will come out and tell you, right? You made the wrong choice. Bitcoin's going to go lower. It's going to go to zero and this and that, right? But just remember, over the last 10, 11 years, 12 years, since its inception, nothing has done better, outperformed Bitcoin. Nothing. No one is close. Or nothing is close. So just keep that in mind, right? So moving on, of course, a lot of the fundamentals of the metrics I show you guys every day. All the fantastic things that's going on. For example, this one is just measuring the miners, right? A lot of people are afraid there may be a miner capitulation right now. In fact, if you look at this, none. The orange is showing the hash rate. It does go up and down, but it's still in an uptrend. The only reason why in 2021 we had that big dip was because China banned all the miners and kicked them out. That's the only reason why we had that big drop. If it was not for that, it just would have continued forward. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now, right? Miners are not capitulating. They're not selling out. They're not even turning their machines off. The smaller ones maybe, but the larger ones continue to go forward. And the fundamentals of Bitcoin continues to grow stronger each and every day. So this is definitely not time to be panicking and getting out of the market. All right. Also, right now, of course, there's a lot of fear, right? A lot of fear about recession, about Binance, about FTX, about Jerome Powell, and there's just a lot of FUD everywhere, right? And generally speaking, when you have a time like this, when there's so much FUD and uncertainty, that usually marks bottom. It makes sense because so many people get out, right? So just to throw that out there, that this could actually be one of those times where we finally found a bottom and we're going to recover upwards. And this is an interesting metric that kind of measures that, right? All right, so there's that. What else is going on? Visa. Visa is proposing that you can auto pay for your things from your self-custody wallet on top of the Ethereum network. So just think about just years ago. Was it feasible that this was that this was being, I don't know, was it Visa? No, first of all, I'll take that back. Was it even conceivable that Visa would do something like this? The answer is no. Now the fact that not only is it something that they're talking about, but there's something that they're doing, well, that just shows you how far we have advanced, right? Again, it shows you why the death of Ethereum is very, very over-exaggerated. They're not going anywhere. And all the big brands and partners and big payment companies and banks and everywhere else, they're all looking to integrate crypto in some way, and many of them are looking at Ethereum at this point. So I think this is pretty positive for Ethereum. Not so much that it's going to help Visa, but pretty good for Ethereum. All right, outside of these things, SBF caused a whole lot of chaos today in court. He was supposed to basically waive his right to extradition hearing. He was just go cave in and say, okay, I need to be extradited to the U.S. All of a sudden, he didn't waive it, so he even shocked his own lawyer. He said he wanted to see, he wanted to see some kind of report that's actually asking for it. So his lawyer got really upset. He demanded to see a copy of his federal indictment before agreeing to the U.S., right? Again, I didn't know that he had a choice in this at all. But I guess this is just a hearing. But anyways, got a lot of people like all riled up, right? And then finally, later in the day, he agreed. Like, what's the point of trying to deny it? I mean, wouldn't you want to get out of that prison from the Bahamas? It just looks absolutely horrible. So then finally he agreed. So as of now, he will be extradited and he will be arriving in the U.S. supposedly by tomorrow. Okay. But again, this whole situation is bad. You know, the contagion spread and there's a lot of fear right now. There's a lot of finger pointing. Everyone is pointing fingers at everyone, right? Especially Binance these days. But just keep in mind, whenever there is this kind of fear level and FUD level and uncertainty, well, it's a golden opportunity. Not just for buying, not just for DCAing, but also building. Building. That is the right mindset for projects. Definitely the right mindset. All right, and then last two things. Binance, I talked about Binance buying out Voyager. So in March, it should all be settled. And some of you guys that had crypto on Voyager, including myself, just a little bit, I got lucked out. I have a little bit, but not too much. But maybe we'll get some of that back on Binance, so that's good. But overall, I checked this morning. I checked the reserves. It's going back up, so that is positive. So a little bit less fear about Binance becoming insolvent due to a bank run. But, you know, of course, there's still fears. And if you do fear Binance or anyone else, even Coinbase, right? Doesn't matter. You could always take control of your crypto, put it into your own wallet, right? But there's also a lot of fear about Coinbase because their stock is just getting absolutely hammered every single day because the U.S. economy has been doing very poorly. I mean, the U.S. market has also been doing very poorly. But, you know, now Dogecoin has a bigger market cap than Coinbase. I'll just leave it at that. All right, that is pretty much it. Look at that. Bitcoin had a little bit of a pump. That's good. Back to where we were this morning, quite honestly. But we'll take it. All right, let's do some Q&A. All right, let me scroll up here. My previous screen is all screwed up. It's not showcasing anything. But at least the live chat is working. Okay, I think it's working now. No, it's not. Anyways, I'll just read the chat. Daya, you're welcome. I'm glad you were saved from that. Let's see. He'll be arraigned tomorrow in Manhattan, right? So SBF will be in the States tomorrow. How about World War III starting? Isn't that the worst fear? If people really thought that was, I think, a real outcome of the war, I think markets would have tanked to near zero already. Because if there was going to be World War III, yeah, people would have sold off and liquidated everything already. So, knock on wood. That never, ever, ever happens. Coinbase deserves it when founders and shareholders sold at top once it was listed. Red Moda, there's some I think there's some miscommunication because it seemed like someone pointed out that Brian Armstrong sold everything, all of his Coinbase stock. Then it was discovered, no, he sold it and then he bought it or transferred it to a trust that he controls. So he didn't technically sell it. So just some clarification there. Someone says Kraken is solid. Okay, I'm not a big Kraken guy, so I never used it. No, I haven't used it for a while. Let's just put it that way. I used it very early on. So it's a very different platform these days. Do you think Harmony 1 will recover? I hope so. I'm not 100% sure. They took some big blows, so I'm not sure. But hopefully. Just got everything to Trust Wallet, Meta Mates. Congratulations. Did you read up on Kevin O'Leary? He ruined Mattel when Mattel got sued. No, I actually didn't read that yet. I will though. Did you see the Fusion breakthrough? What does unlimited energy mean for BTC? I did. We're far away from unlimited free energy. So there's that. But if we do get it, well, that makes Bitcoin mining even more profitable. So the miners can mine basically unlimited with unlimited power, and, you know, it just comes down to, I guess, cost of the machines and cost of AC, but still. I mean, but the AC is, yeah, I mean, it's just physical hardware costs and labor costs. But it would be great. It would be great. Then the FUDsters can't blame Bitcoin for taking up so much of the energy grid. Thoughts on SKL? What's SKL? Scale? I don't really have thoughts on Scale. Quite honestly, they're quite small. Under 100 million. At this point, under 100 million is considered an ultra small cap. The blockchain network of the future available now. Scale is the first interoperable blockchain network fully authorized for Web 3.0. Yeah, this sounds like 100 different other projects. So I have no thoughts on it. Pretty sure it's some kind of like layer 2. Some kind of layer 2, but there's just like 100 other projects that's in the same space. So is ILV an ultra small cap? It is. It is now. It wasn't before. They are very, very, very small at this point. Very small. I still hope that they can pull through, right? I think a lot of their downfall not only was because their game wasn't out, but they had a whole bunch of token unlocking. That hurt them. But from what I hear, they're still continuing to press forward, trying to get their game out. They opened up the battlegrounds, I believe. So, as long as they keep pushing forward, then there's still hope. When Fusion Core, probably. Long way. 800 million is not small cap. 80 million is small cap. XPLL. Parallel chain. It's not even out yet. Parallel chain. All right, just give me the info here. I don't need to scroll through all that. IBM, digital AWS, supposedly. Powered by AWS. See, like stuff like this, to be honest, it's just a gimmick. You could have your nodes run on AWS, but that doesn't mean anything. There's a lot of projects that's powered by AWS or Google. It doesn't mean that you're partnered with Amazon. I think this is just too early. And just, yeah, I don't think they're completely done yet. Please say something about Polkadot. I don't have any news on Polkadot. I have not heard anything about Polkadot recently, so I can't even comment on it. But I do think Polkadot is still going to pull through. They're one of the bigger L1s. Their side chains is still growing, although I haven't heard much about their side chains in recent times. They've kind of, I just don't hear anything about Polkadot. I think that's why people are losing faith in them, because they just don't know what's coming up. I covered all the news outlets and no one talks about Polkadot. So they could do a better job with marketing, that's for sure. Please let everyone know BlockFi is giving withdrawals to wallets. No, they're not doing that. They are seeking permission to do that. Doesn't mean that they are actually going to get it. I hope so. But BlockFi is looking to get permission to give people access to the wallets and at least be able to withdraw. But again, the courts have to decide yes or no. It makes sense that they open it, right? And it makes sense that the courts allow it. So hopefully that does come through. That'll be some good news so you don't have to wait through the whole bankruptcy hearing thing. Since the recent drop in price, do you think they're going to hire more people for crypto, like in the space? Ricardo, yes. Just pay attention to these big boys. Fidelity just opened up their crypto exchange, like now, right? And every single big institution and bank is still getting involved. I just covered Visa trying to, incorporate Ethereum into their new auto pay feature that integrates with self-custody wallets. I mean, this all takes people to work on, right? So these big boys are still hiring left and right. And there's going to be more integration in the future. So no doubt there's still a lot of people that will be entering. And these big boys are not leaving. That's for sure. Relax, sleep sound. Shout out to my clothing line, Anointed Eagle Apparel on Etsy. Hopefully that helps. Will you have a place in Sandbox where you can go hang out with you? Eventually. One time I did that in Decentraland. It was very uncomfortable because there was like 50 dudes just following me around. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But in the future, if Sandbox has missions and stuff to do, you know, I might check it out. Annie, what do you think about NFTs linked to real life assets? I mean, that already exists, but most people don't care about their digital equivalency, right? Like for basketball cards, baseball cards, football cards, they already have that. Panini has blockchain cards. Not a whole lot of interest in them. People just like the physical thing. You know, but if people do it right, for example, if you link, I don't know, NFTs to timeshare or something like that, right? And then you could go stay at a timeshare or something like that based on your NFT, adding real utility to NFTs, then it makes a whole lot of sense. It's just right now there's not a whole lot of it, not on a grander scale. There's some, but not on a grander scale, right? You know, for people that like coffee, for example. I know Starbucks is working on a reward system, but just go throw out an example. Let's say, you know, Starbucks sells 1,000 limited NFTs, and with it, you can redeem unlimited coffee for life, right? That would be really, really cool, you know, and then people would go, Starbucks lovers would love to buy that NFT because it's very limited, and once you have that, you can get unlimited coffees. And here's the thing. Because of an NFT, you can sell it to someone else. You can sell it to someone else. Whoever gets it, right, immediately has that access. You don't have to transfer anything else other than send them the NFT. So that's just an example, but there's way more things that you could do. Title companies could use it for houses. There's just so much stuff, right? But right now, we don't have a lot of that. Kevin is coming along very nicely. Very nicely. So once the DXY is dropping, I'm surprised the DXY be dropping. Not really. It's 104. It was down to like 102 before. So it actually climbed up a little bit. Did Trump sell all his NFTs? He did. I heard he made $5 million or something like that. It was actually a lot. What are your thoughts on XDC network? I don't really have any thoughts on XDC. I'm pretty sure I looked at this before. Not that familiar. They're like a small cap, but not an ultra small cap, so that's good. I'm pretty sure. I don't need to know about the foundation. Yeah, I did look at this before. Yeah, it's another L1. I think they have like GE or one of these big boys that's signed up. Featured in. No, it's not GE. Circle is part of the network, probably for stablecoin. Yeah, I've seen them before. Again, kind of like the other one I looked at. I mean, honestly, there's just so many L1s and L2s. Can they make it? Possibly. But right now, I don't know. Where were they before? Obviously much higher at their peak. They're at 18 cents. Circulating supply versus total supply. About a third. Volume is relatively low. You look at exchanges, the biggest exchange they're on is KuCoin, so they're probably held back because of that. I mean, they could do well. I just don't know enough about them. But, yeah, okay. DXY must die. I mean, the DXY, we need to see that go down a lot more. Unfortunately, because of all the recession fears, it went back up again. What's your realistic prediction for 2023? Second half of 2023, I think we start recovering. First half, maybe boring. I think we see a little recovery, but probably not as much as people want. I think the second half, you know, come June, July, August, that's when we'll see good movement. And that correlates with the 4-year cycle because we'll be coming up really close to it. When will Celsius give us our money back? I don't know. I think they're having the same kind of auction Voyager did. I don't hear much about bidding at this point. I don't know who's going to be bidding for Celsius assets. Just don't know. Just don't know. All right, guys. I'm going to leave you guys with this. Even Michael Saylor, 9 years ago, was a Bitcoin bear. He didn't believe in Bitcoin. Just like a lot of people that still don't believe in Bitcoin today, right? Like to poke fun of it. Says it's going to die, like online gambling, right? But as more and more people understand about money, about banks, about inflation, about buying power dissipating over years, right? More and more people will turn to Bitcoin, right? That's why Michael Saylor now has 130,000 Bitcoins, and he has fully converted. So it's just a matter of time. Everyone else will too. So stay strong, my friends. I'll see you guys tomorrow, bright and early, same time, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.